The International Convention on Biological Diversity, that is CBD, has recognized invasive alien species as the second largest threat to the global biodiversity and ecosystem services after habitat destruction. Only 2 decades back, the extent of damage caused to the natural ecosystems by the invasive alien species has been recognized as one of the most serious environmental issues. Despite the recent recognition of various environmental impacts caused by the invasive alien plants across the world, there are still many regions of the world, especially the tropical regions, where basic information on native and alien species, the importance of native plants over the alien plants, and various threats of invasion are only informal or completely lacking. They levy direct economic costs for humans. African nations alone spend around 60 million US dollars annually trying to control invasive alien weeds such as water hyacinths, that is Icornia crassipus, and water lettuce, that is Pistia statiotus, that clog important waterways. They also levy heavy costs in terms of the lost ecosystem services. The problem is growing with human mobility and global trade. The CBD, or the Convention on Biological Diversity, adopted the guiding principles for the prevention, introduction and mitigation of impacts of the alien species that threaten ecosystems, habitats or species at the Conference of Parties meeting number 6 held in 2002. These non-binding principles provide guidance and goals for governments. A simple checklist of alien plant species of particular region or country, a comprehensive documentation especially focusing on the history of the introduction and spread of the alien plant species, characteristic ecological features, their ecological and economic impacts and control measures, management strategies are prerequisite. Such comprehensive studies enable the government to frame effective policies and legislations to control the spread and impacts of invasive plant species in the country. India, with diverse climate and topographic features, is highly vulnerable to biological invasions. Furthermore, a rapidly increasing human population, high rate of trade and travel, coupled with greater movement of people, increase the accidental and intentional introduction of plant species in the country. Consequently, a considerable number of alien plant species have become part of our flora. In fact, according to the recent inventory and alien flora of the India, the vascular flora of our country contains 8.5% of alien species. India, one of the signatories of the Convention on Biological Diversity, that is CBD, has adopted Aichi Target 9 by 2020. Invasive alien species and pathways are identified and prioritized. Priority species are controlled or eradicated, and measures are in place to manage pathways to prevent their introduction and establishment, as it's one of the national biodiversity targets. Therefore, in the past 1 decade, there have been efforts to correctly recognize and enumerate the invasive alien plant species in India, and also to study and assess the impacts of the invasive species in different phytogeographical regions of the country, especially in the biodiversity hotspots, the Himalayas and the Western Ghats. A 2-day national conference on the status of invasive alien species in India was organized by the Botanical Survey of India and Zoological Survey of India in association with the National Biodiversity Authority on 14th and 15th December 2017 at Calcutta. During this conference, Botanical Survey of India published one book and released it, which provides information on the profiles of 50 menacing invasive plant species in India. I am sure every one of you is familiar with the recent invasion of the locusts into India. So this is also one example of biological invasion. The locusts entered several districts of Rajasthan via Pakistan Sindh province. Few days later they also entered Madhya Pradesh. This locust attack has affected about 90,000 hectares across 20 districts in Rajasthan. Last year, mature locusts had entered parts of India after a gap of almost 26 years. But the locusts that have come into India this year are immature ones. The immature locusts are not fully grown and have the capacity to cause more harm than the mature ones. They can eat as much as food as 35,000 people. I am happy to note that Dr. Sachin Punekar has taken up this issue of invasive alien species by creating one WhatsApp group for the movement against biological invasion, in which there are several experts sharing various kinds of information